Hey, basketball coaches and basketball players, today's going to be a really fun episode. We're going to be looking at James Harden and how he travels. Now, before we understand that he's really not traveling, we have to understand what a travel really is. So when you go up for a regular layup, you gather on your left foot. For on the right side, you gather on your left foot. You take a right step, a left step, and then you go up for the layup. So you're taking one step, two step, and then a half a step by going up. So you're allowed to take 2.5 steps as long as after those 2.5 steps, you release the ball, either with a pass or with a shot, one of those two. So by really breaking down James Harden, who is clearly one of the best step back shooters in the NBA, and I'm going to say this, in the NBA ever, because he has created so many versions of the step back that a lot of them look like travels. So let's get down to the clipboard. Let's look at how he's able to do those step back shots so that you can imitate and be able to copy a lot of these step backs and use them in your own game. Let's get down to the clipboard. Let's check these out. So in this first clip, what we're going to be seeing is James Harden setting up the whole step back. He really does this masterfully. So he's able to cross up, starts driving with one step, and does the step back. Now, of course, he drains that shot, but let's back up just a bit. Now, when he dribbles in, that's his gather step right there because he holds onto the ball with two hands. Now, that is his pivot foot. He now steps back, that's one step, two step, and now he releases that ball by really looking close. That's his pivot foot. That's not his first step, that is his pivot foot. He's allowed to remove that foot from the ground, plant it one more time, and before it lands again, he needs to get rid of the ball. Let's check this out. He goes one step. That's one step so far. He's landed there. His next foot comes down. That's two step. He's allowed a half a step. A half a step is him jumping into the air. He jumps into the air, obviously, to shoot the ball, and he makes that shot. So here's James Harden again, setting up that step back, crossing over the ball, and he does just a quick jump stop back. A nice step back right there. So how he does this, he's able to cross up that ball. He has not picked it up just yet. Even though it's in his hand, he can still dribble the ball again. So now he's able to take that hop. Now, because that's his gather step. His gather step is him picking up that ball and putting two hands on it. Now, that left foot of his is the pivot foot. That's his pivot foot. He takes a step back, 1, 2. He's planted both feet, 1, 2, so that's now 2 steps. Now he needs to shoot that ball, and he's able to. What I'm saying here is, if you really want to copy James Harden and see how he is able to get these step backs, and he's able to master these like crazy, I can guarantee you that he goes out to the basketball court. Now, you may not be able to have a basketball court available to you during this coronavirus stuff, but if you've got a net in your backyard, or if you just want to work on the footwork, take a camera with you, your cell phone or whatever, maybe a parent or a friend, sibling, you can't be with friends right now, and go out to a driveway or out to the street and practice your step back and record it. And now see if you're able to get those step back, gather step. A gather step is when you pick up that ball, but either hitting two hands on it or getting your hand underneath the ball. It's when you get to a point where you cannot dribble again, that's your gather step. And then take 2 steps after that, and that's still not a travel, and you can take that shot. So here's another great example. He's setting up the step back by crossing over the ball. And he's crossing it over very low, and then he does his step back. Now let's analyze this step back. Let's see if he was traveling. So he crosses over that ball. He now does his gather step. His hand is still above the top half of the ball. Now, as soon as he brings it over, that's his gather step. That little hop is not a travel. He plants his left foot. Now he picks up that ball. That's his gather step. That's now his left foot right there is his pivot foot. He's now allowed to pick up that pivot foot. James Harden steps back, plants that right foot, plants the left foot, and now he has to take that shot, which he does, and which he does make. So many people will think that because he looks like he picked up the ball right there, that's his pivot foot. It actually isn't. So he picks up that ball right there. That left foot is his pivot foot. And because of that, he's able to step back and take that shot. Now this next one has a really nice angle to it. So we're going to show it in slow motion really quickly. We can see that gather step right there, step back and shot. Now, when he crosses over that ball, that's his gather step right there. So now his left foot is going to be that pivot foot. So how to do a gather step is when you take a step forward, but still in the motion that you could dribble. It's not a dead dribble because you're allowed to take one step in between dribbles, which means that that's a gather step. Now he touches that other hand to the ball, and now his left foot is the pivot foot. He takes a step back, right foot, left foot, and then up with the shot. Now here's another clip where it looks like he travels, but let's really analyze and see if he actually does travel. So when he's dribbling towards his defender, he then dribbles one more time. So he takes one big, massive step. That is a huge attack for him. Like, it looks like he's going to be attacking. But if you're a defender and somebody takes that big of a step, you know that they're going to be landing on their heel and they're going to be doing a step back. So food for thought, any defenders out there going up against somebody who does a lot of step backs, look at their lead foot. If they're landing on their heel, they're not going to be doing a step back. They're not going to be attacking you. They're going to be doing a step back. So now he dribbles one more time. Now, we're going to be watching his step back. Now, after that dribble, he is now picking up that ball after that step back, because if we look really closely, when he does this last dribble, he's on both feet. And when he does his step back, that's his gather foot, or this gather step right there. So really, as soon as he picks it up, he's on actually what looks to be both feet right here. He's not on just his left foot, he's on both feet, which means that both feet could be a pivot foot. Well, he's going to turn it into his left foot being the pivot foot, and he takes one step back and two step back, and now he has to release that ball. So if you can really time your step back perfectly, and I'm going to tell you right now, you need to start recording your footwork and then reviewing it after to see if you've got yourself perfect footwork, which is what James Harden has. And I can almost guarantee you he records his step backs in practice so that he can make sure that he's not traveling. So then, reviewing this one more time, he takes that dribble on both feet, does a little quick hop step back, and he lands on both feet. He then transfers to his left foot, which you're allowed to because you've landed on both feet. He picks up the ball on both feet, takes a step back, and now he's able to take that shot. This is why it's not a travel, and it may look like a travel, but it is not. Now this next clip is really zoomed in, but we get to see the footwork perfectly. So he's setting up this step back by doing a few different crossovers to make Steph Curry give him some room, which is what happens. Now, when he does that last dribble, he steps back, he's on his right foot, and then his gather step, because he hasn't stopped dribbling as of yet. He gathers that ball when he is on that left foot. Now, he does his step back 1-2, and he's able to take that shot. Now, how he is able to do this is by, again, not picking up that ball officially. He could still dribble up until that point there. Now he cannot dribble anymore because he has both hands on the ball, and he has one hand underneath the bottom half of that ball. If you're unsure what I mean by this, you have to pretend that there's an imaginary line on that ball. You're not allowed to have more than half of your hand below that line. You need to have more than half of both of your hands above that line. So as soon as your hand, which we see right here, underneath the bottom half, you have picked up your dribble. But he's also got his other secondary right hand on the ball anyways. So now, that left foot is his pivot foot. He takes one step back, two steps, and now he's able to take that shot. Again, you're allowed two steps in basketball, and then you have to get rid of the ball. Now, for all of those referees out there who are going to get really upset with this video breakdown because you may interpret the rules differently, yes, you are not allowed to pick up your pivot foot before you start a dribble. You have to dribble before you start picking up your pivot foot. However, once you have dribbled the ball, you're allowed to pick up your pivot foot, plant it one more time, and then you have to get rid of the ball. It's when you go in for your layup, you have to remember that your last dribble is on your left foot. You pick up the ball, you go right, left, and then up. It's the same way whether you're taking a shot, whether you're doing an up and under, it doesn't matter. Anyways, I hope that this video has helped you break down how James Harden is not traveling. And of course, I'm going to let you know right now, just because I'm going to get a lot of hate. Yes, James Harden gets away with a ton of stuff. He gets so many foul calls against him. The referees are in his pocket. Or he's in the referee's pocket. I don't know how that saying works, but let's just face it. The step back is extremely deadly, and you can do it as well. And believe me, you're going to score so many more points if you start breaking down your footwork on video and understanding what is and what is not a travel. And then you can now go out into your next game and run those moves. Know in your head that it's not a travel, and you're able to do those moves. Now, I'm going to let you know right now, if a referee says it's a travel, I'm going to let you know right now, it's a travel. You're not going to change his mind. But if you can talk to a referee and say, hey, how can I make this move legal? Then you are all set. Because now you're asking the referee to teach you. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I hope that you've learned something. Anyways, I will see you guys again in our next video.